discuss the evolution of blockchain regulation in the United States. Now, when I refer to blockchain regulation, I'm really referring to the regulation of blockchains in capital markets and related token issuances. And this is separate in the United States and regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, as opposed to virtual currency, which is regulated by entirely different regulators. Now, let me give you a little bit of background about myself. I'm a securities attorney in New York City, and since 2013, I focused my practice on the applications of distributed ledger technology and the related to the securities industry and the related regulatory matters. In 2014, my team was actually the first, or one of the first, to approach the Securities and Exchange Commission to ask them to allow us to transact cryptographic tokens in a brokerage account compliantly under the federal securities laws. Now, at the time, the SEC really didn't want to deal with the matter of regulating the blockchain industry. And basically, this is really an indication of the inherent problems with regulation itself. Regulation itself is inherently reactive. It's slow, and regulators don't step in until there's a problem. So what ends up happening is that innovators and technologists are really forced to sit in a regulatory gray zone and determine if and what laws apply, sort of self-regulate. And what ends up happening is that as blockchains become more popular in the capital markets, particularly with the introduction of the ERC-20 standard, which basically standardized the process for token issuance, the SEC was forced to step in. The issue was that it took 2 years, from 2015 to 2017, for the SEC to step in, and during that time, the innovators and technologists in the industry argued that tokens were utilities and not securities, and they weren't subject to the federal securities laws. But when the SEC stepped in 2017, they basically said that the tokens were securities, and retroactively, all those activities that service providers, token issuers, and platforms had done were subject to the federal securities laws. So this meant that essentially $6 billion of capital was raised illegally in the United States. Now that we have a little bit of a context, let's actually look at the history of token issuance in the United States. Now before the SEC stepped in July 2017, there were really two eras of token issuance. The first, we'll call the foundational tokens, and what these were the pioneering tokens that really established the concept of a token issuance and had multiple innovative components. One, it was innovative to issue a token to raise capital through a cryptographic token over the internet. But two, what was really interesting is this new method of capital formation basically didn't operate in the traditional sense of how securities work. Traditional securities, stocks, bonds, options, convertibles, are basically, their price is tied to the actual performance of the underlying company, the profit and loss, whether they met revenue goals. Now, tokens, on the other hand, were a bit different. The value of the token was actually tied to the user interest in the ecosystem. The more user interest in the ecosystem, and the more utility of that token, the more, in theory, assuming the crypto economics were correct, the value of that token would increase. Now, the second era of token issuances is really what we'll call the ERC-20 standard era. And this starts when the ERC-20 standard white paper is introduced in November 2015 and goes until the SEC steps in July of 2017. And what this era entails is really the explosive growth in the token industry. So what this ERC-20 standard did, by standardizing the process and basically eliminating the barriers associated with token issuance by making it such that issuers didn't have to have the cryptographic or technical infrastructure. They can use Ethereum in order to issue their own token. And this explosive growth was really good for the industry in that it allowed companies to focus on their actual business activities, not necessarily developing the technical infrastructure to actually issue their own cryptographic token. But at the same time, this explosive growth sort of led to a craze. It became very speculative. And people who wanted to participate in the industry stopped looking at the value of the underlying company, basically the fundamentals, and they just wanted to participate. And this led to crazy price swings and tokens going up in value significantly in short periods of time, which essentially attracted every scammer, huckster, and fly-by-night company that wanted to raise capital on a white paper and a dream. And what ended up happening is that a lot of investors were defrauded and basically lost their investment money to scammers. And as more and more people were losing this money, it forced the SEC to step in, the Securities and Exchange Commission, because the SEC's mandate is essentially to protect the investment public. And once the SEC stepped in, they started considering tokens in the context of the federal securities laws. And in July 2017, we have a paradigm shift. The question of whether a token is a utility or security no longer existed because the SEC came out in its DAO report and essentially said DAO tokens were securities. Now, DAO tokens were sort of easy to assess as securities because they had traditional securities features. They had some sort of corporate governance feature, and they also had a profit participation. So it was really easy to determine that. But if you read between the lines, essentially what the SEC was saying is that almost all tokens were securities, and then therefore subject to the federal securities laws. So let's take a look at actually how the SEC reached that conclusion. So in order to make that determination, the SEC looked at a 1946 court case that gave us the Howey test. And the Howey test really is a determination of whether a transaction is an investment contract and therefore a security. And you can think of an investment contract as the all-encompassing catch-all for the securities industry. So if a security or a transaction doesn't fit into a traditional bond or stock offering, the SEC uses this test to determine whether it's a security. And basically, this test has 4 factors. The first is whether there is an investment of value. Now, this value can either be fiat or crypto. The second is whether the participant, the actual person that's putting the money into the transaction, has an expectation of profit, meaning a return on the value invested. The third component to this test, the third factor, is determine whether the fiat or crypto is invested in a common enterprise or a common project. And the last factor is basically whether the value that's derived is derived primarily from the efforts of others. And if you look at that in the context of a token issuance, a person puts in money. They put money into a project that isn't completed in a hope that they're going to generate a return, or else why participate in the project to begin with? That money is put into a common project, basically some sort of company, and the value that that investor receives is derived from the insiders of that company, whether it's the foundation or the developers who are working on the project to basically make it more valuable and hopefully give a return to their investors. So essentially, it's a security. Now, the question then becomes, is there no such thing as a utility token? And in Prometheum's estimate, we anticipate that over 99% of tokens that were issued in this period were securities. And the question is, well, is there such thing as a utility token? And I like to make reference to Chairman John Clayton, the chairman of the SEC, and use the example that he uses. So Chairman Clayton basically said that there is a such thing as a utility token, but it really exists at your laundromat. So in this example, you go to your laundromat and you go buy tokens to go get your clothes cleaned. You're buying those tokens to use them to get a utility, to actually get your clothes cleaned. But the reality is, no one's ever going to speculate on a laundromat token. I'm not going to make a return on my investments by getting my laundry done. So in that circumstance, you have a possibility of there being a utility token. But outside of that, what Chairman Clayton has said is that in the United States, every token he's seen constitutes a security. Now, the July 2017 DAO report, which basically was this giant paradigm shift, really marked the era of the SEC getting together and marshaling their troops, and sort of what signified the beginning of the SEC claiming regulatory oversight over the token industry. And what further happened, in June 2018, if the DAO report wasn't enough, the SEC actually appointed the first ever crypto czar, Valery Shishevnik, and to oversee digital assets and cryptographic tokens. And what the industry started to realize, and the industry and securities insiders knew for a long time, is that this was just the beginning, and there was going to be lots of enforcement actions brought, because all those ERC-20 tokens that were issued were often in violation of the federal securities laws. And as of September 2018, North American regulators have brought over 200 enforcement actions against token issuers, service providers, and platforms who are participating in the token industry. Now, in order to really understand what these enforcement actions are, let's look at the categories, 4 main categories of violations that occur. So the first is violations that occurred in the offering process. Now, in the United States, in order to do a securities offering, you either have to be doing a registered or exempt offering. Now, a registered offering means that you have to go to the SEC, give them your offering documents, and have them approve it. An exempt offering means you just have to meet certain parameters in your sort of offering documents in order to qualify for the exemption. Regretfully, a lot of the token issuers didn't meet these standards, so there was lots of violations. Furthermore, in your offering documents, there's a concept that you have to have full and fair disclosure. And what does that mean? That means that the issuer has to disclose all material facts related to the offering. Furthermore, they can't even omit a material fact, so they have to proactively disclose it. Now, what's a material fact? A material fact is a fact that an investor will consider relevant when making an investment decision. The second category of violations occurred in terms of know your customer and anti-money laundering violations. Now, when a platform does a securities offering in the United States, they have an affirmative responsibility to verify the investors involved in order to make sure that they're not banned from the securities industry and not subject to the Office of Foreign Asset Control and basically laundering money for terrorist or nefarious actions. The third category of violations that occurred were violations involving the registration and licensing of the actual entities. Now, in the United States, in order to take a commission off the purchase or sale of the securities, one has to be a registered broker-dealer. If the SEC said that retroactively cryptographic tokens were securities and platforms were taking a commission by purchasing or selling those tokens, they were operating as an unregistered broker-dealer. Furthermore, a lot of these platforms held themselves out as exchanges. In the United States, an exchange is a very particular term of art. You have to meet very particular requirements, get qualified by the SEC, have your own self-regulatory organization, and it's a very high barrier to entry. And even if you're registered as a trading platform, you cannot call yourself an exchange. So that's just basically a violation on its face. Finally, the fourth category of violations involved secondary trading, meaning assuming that the tokens were neither registered or exempt, and therefore were unregistered securities, the platforms that were trading them were literally trading illegal securities, which is also a complete violation of the federal securities law. Furthermore, even let's say, because you have to take an affirmative action to register, and none of the companies took this affirmative action, but let's say they met an exemption, right? An exemption from registration means that the securities are restricted. They can't trade freely on the secondary market. And a lot of the secondary trading platforms took these potentially restricted securities and were trading them freely, which is another violation. Now, we've looked at this doom and gloom here, but the Dow report and the SEC's affirmative action paradigm shift actually works to the benefit of the industry. Now, let me explain why. Because there currently are regulations that exist by which issuers can compliantly issue tokens, trade them on a secondary market, and clear and settle them in the United States. So let's take a look at what the issuer's options are when they're actually going to try to raise capital compliantly by issuing a cryptographic token. So there's really two categories of offerings that you would do in this context. One is an exempt offering. Now, an exempt offering in this capacity is called a Reg D offering. Now, a Reg D offering allows you to raise an unlimited amount of capital, and it's limited to 35 retail investors, meaning non-accredited, and an unlimited amount of accredited investors. And furthermore, one of the benefits is you don't need SEC approval of your offering documents. As soon as your offering documents are done, you can do the offering. The issue, though, is that securities issued in an exempt offering are restricted, as I mentioned before, and therefore can't trade freely on the secondary market. Now, I would argue that an exempt offering really isn't in line with the concept of what a cryptographic token offering is. In a sense, it's not free trading and not available to all investors. Now, a Reg A Plus really provides a better option, which basically allows you to raise up to $50 million annually, but you can raise it from all types of investors, and Once those securities are issued, they can trade freely on the secondary market. Now, the only drawback here is that the SEC actually has to approve your offering documents, which can take 4 to 6 months, but the benefits associated far outweigh that waiting period. Now, we've discussed the issuance component, but really, in order for the industry, the cryptographic token industry, to reach the mainstream, you're going to need 3 infrastructure components in order to allow for a complete ecosystem to occur. First is an issuance platform via Reg A+. We discussed that. Second is a trading platform. Now, I mentioned before that an exchange is a very high barrier to entry, and I really don't believe that there's going to be an exchange registered and qualified in the United States for cryptographic token trading for years. But the other option, an alternative trading system, provides a mechanism by which issuers can list tokens and transact them freely on the secondary market, and basically allows for participation by all types of investors. And it's my belief that an ATS will be qualified and registered in the United States within 8 to 12 months. Finally, the third infrastructure component you need is a clearing and settling platform. And basically what you need here is a mechanism for processing customer transactions and monitoring custody of customers' cryptographic assets. And what that means is that you have to have the ability to control and segregate customers' funds such that they're kept separately in the event that there's a catastrophic business event for the company. So if the business fails, the customers, the investors' funds and securities are segregated and they can be protected. Now, you might ask, beyond as an attorney, why am I so interested in this? Well, when the data report came out in July 2017, me and my team realized that there was no infrastructure in place to transact cryptographic tokens. There was no complete ecosystem. So what we decided to do was we realized there was an opportunity, and we started developing this complete ecosystem. And essentially, Promethean, the company I co-founded, is creating a complete ecosystem for the primary issuance of registered securities, that first infrastructure component, that has an ATS, an alternative trading system that allows for secondary listing of issuer cryptographic tokens and allows them to trade freely on the secondary market. And we actually approached the SEC and requested that they grant us permission through a no-action request that basically laid out the methodology by which you'd be able to clear and settle customer transactions and monitor custody of customers' cryptographic tokens within that ecosystem. So if you put that together, you have this complete ecosystem that will really allow cryptographic tokens to reach the mainstream. So let's sum up here, because I want you to really have the main takeaways that we should have here. First, the question of whether a token is a utility or security in the United States has been decided. Tokens are securities in the United States and therefore subject to the federal securities laws. Second, the regulations exist that allow for compliant issuance, transaction, clearing, and settlement of cryptographic tokens. They currently exist. We don't have to wait for new regulations. And finally, and this is what I would argue is possibly the most important, regulators are your friends. Historically, the industry was hesitant to deal with regulators. They thought they were exempt from actual regulation, and that led to this whole era where the reputation of tokens was really destroyed. Now regulation is clear, regulators are your friends, and it's important and it's essential that the industry embrace regulation in order to reach the mainstream. Thank you very much, everyone. If anyone has any questions, please come find me.